Yes, guys, I'm Si. Welcome to In the Morning. Cup of tea with Si, but it's not tea today, so it's Cuppa with Si. Cup of coffee, cappuccino, in fact. Lovely jubbly. So just getting ready for the day, really. Just done a couple of graphics and stuff. But more importantly, what's happening? How are you? Are you good? How are you feeling? We are through. It's Wednesday. Wednesday today. Hump day, innit? Is that what it is? I don't know. Too young. Too old, rather. It's an interesting one, isn't it? Like Wales versus England. It feels like such a weird thing. Cardiff played Tuesday and then Wales are playing tonight. But normally I'd be bang up for like a Wales-England game, but it's just friendlies, like international friendlies that are like, they just kill everything. Like they really disrupted Cardiff season, the international breaks already this year, and I think this one is going to as well. Obviously we didn't have players to select and stuff on Tuesday. It's frustrating to say the least, but I will say, you know, it's Wales versus England. There's always going to be a bit of needle to it. As soon as I'm done with this, I'm recording a video kind of looking forward to the game and really focusing on whether the 5 City players in the squad will get any game time today to push for a place for the Belgium game. But yeah, I'll do that in a bit. Just looking at while I was just after I'd finished doing my graphics and stuff for today, I was just having a look at some of the sort of sports news of the day, and I noticed like that Manchester United's owner said he's going to give Ruben Amorim 3 years, but if they did, I think it would be quite refreshing, because I think just generally, like, football clubs don't give managers time to bed themselves in, and I think that's an issue. There was rumours overnight that United are getting sold to the Saudis, which doesn't surprise me. I heard a little whisper about some stuff about like Saudi clubs wanting to buy more Saudi owners wanting to buy more football clubs in the UK, so it doesn't shock me if there was anything to that. But Steven Gerrard to back to Rangers is an interesting one. Anyone who kind of knows me thinks I think he's a vastly overrated footballer. For instance, I think Xabi Alonso is way better, but you know, it's all opinions, isn't it? But as a manager, I think he's dreadful. Although Russell Martin has proven the exception to the rule, because generally I think everybody thought anyone could win with Rangers and Celtic sort of thing, because it's a 2-team league effectively. Russell Martin went out there and said, no, not anyone can do it. Jeez, did he go up in flames? They hated him, which is insane, really. Like, to think that 7 games into the season and Rangers have won 1 football match was insane. And look, Gerrard, I think from memory, I think he did all right at Rangers, so maybe that's his kind of his level and his comfort zone. I don't know how I'd feel about that if I was a Rangers fan. I'm not sure that that's a step in the right direction, but it's definitely a step up, I suppose, from Russell Martin's start to the season. So I guess it's one of them, isn't it? But who knows? I'm really fascinated by like the international break, because in recent years, like probably in the last 10 to 15 years, I have fallen back in love with the Welsh national team. I'm proudly Welsh, but I kind of got bored of international football for a long time. And then, you know, coming into probably 2014, really started to get back into it. And then I've had a bit of a lull again then. And then Bellamy's kind of brought me back in a little bit. Like really getting enjoying the way he's trying to play football. Not perfect, mind, because as I'll discuss in the video a bit later, like if we go in and we have a midfield similar to what we had against Kazakhstan, England will absolutely destroy us and end up sticking about 6 on us, which is a problem. And this is the problem with this fixture, right? There's no need for it. And it can have a really detrimental effect on Wales going forward. If England win, which you'd expect them to, if they win heavily, it can have a really big impact on Wales' seeding in the next qualifications. And who thought it was a good idea? But then on the other flip side of that, listening to Bellamy speak yesterday, it's difficult not to get excited. He's good in front of the mics, and he can get you excited. He can get your passion flowing for sure. And I know that he will always want to compete. He's a professional. He's got that attitude. He's a winner. But why not play someone else? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why not play whoever ahead of the Belgium game? Maybe they wanted a real tough test to have ahead of the Belgium game, but it just seems like a big risk, because I'm sure it'll be feisty. It's bound to be. It's a rivalry. It's a derby at international level, and don't want any injuries ahead of Belgium. I suppose if you're looking at a positive kind of side of it, if Wales go and put in a great performance or we even win, it's massive going into the Belgium game, and it gives you that lift. But I think most of us think England will have too much. If you look at it, if you take the passion and the emotion out of it, England should have too much. Their team is full of Premier League superstars. We've got 5 players from League One, albeit they all 5 deserve to be in the squad. It is what it is. We're a small nation, so we go with what we got. Harry Kane is missing, which I'm a little bit disappointed by, because I was hoping if Dylan Lawler does play, we might get to see him up against Kane and see how he dealt with that level of opponent. I'm not sure he starts. I think Capaccio might start, so my back four would be Capaccio, Nico Williams on the right, on the left, because I think he's a little bit better on the left for Wales. And then obviously Joe Rodon comes back in, and it's who do you pair him with? I think Bellamy will pair him with Ben Davies, or certainly pair him with Ben Davies against Belgium. Maybe he goes Rodon and Lawler against England. I don't know, just to give Ben Davies a bit of a rest ahead of the Belgium game. But I wouldn't be shocked if Dylan Lawler gets a start, because I said before the last game, once Bellamy saw him up close, he was always going to be in and thereabouts, and he was man of the match in his game, so I won't be shocked if he starts again. Right back, I think, is up for grabs, because I believe Nico's in the Welsh way of playing, or the Bellamy's way of playing. I think Nico Williams is more suited to the left-hand side, and he was poor versus Kazakhstan on the right. So, knowing how much Bellamy thinks of Capaccio, would it be a shock if he started? I don't think so. Same mind in the midfield. I think it should be Jordan James and Ampadu with Harry Wilson in front of them. That's the strongest midfielder I think Wales can put out. For some reason, since Bellamy's taken over, he doesn't seem to fancy Jordan James as much as others do, as fans do, as media do, as previous managers have done. So I do wonder whether we could see an Ampadu and Joel Colwell, for instance, because I think Joel Colwell ticks all the boxes of what Bellamy wants. He's like a footballer version of Cullen, in terms of he runs around and he presses, but he actually can carry the ball and score goals and create goals and defend and wants the ball under pressure. Like, he's a good footballer. But I don't expect him to start. I don't expect Ruben to start, unless I'm assuming that he's going to start the game with his strongest possible side. Maybe he doesn't, and if he doesn't, then of course they might get minutes. But Wales' strongest 11, the strongest team that we could put out, should at least be able to be in the game against England. When you look at the side that played against Kazakhstan, particularly in the midfield, that gets picked apart by any England team, whichever squad or team they pick, because it was just ridiculous. You had Sheenan and Cullen didn't want the ball, so you're left to a 19-year-old centre-back to try and find Harry Wilson, which is insane, really. But you know, Harry Kane's out, so could be Anthony Gordon, could be Liam Delap. There's a range of players. I thought Liam Delap's out, I think, with injury as well. So I'm not sure, like Rashford, people like this. Either way, it's going to be a tough game for the Welsh defence, isn't it? Because they've got ridiculous depth. Because yeah, it is what it is, I guess, isn't it? Just looking at some other sort of football news, I guess, is the best way of putting it. But then I came across this thing. It's a little video on BBC, and it says the day Wales beat England in Wembley. First person to guess in the comments before I say what it is. What year was it? But on that day, nearly 50 years ago, Leighton James sealed Wales' only previous victory at Wembley with a penalty versus Peter Shilton. And yeah, look, it's a long time ago, before I was even born. But it's the size of the nations, the player pool that they have to pick from is insane. On kind of Welsh retro historic legends players, as I mentioned last night, I'm doing an evening with Neville Southall on the 18th of October. It's not an event produced by Ace Podcast Nation and Cardiff City World or myself. I am just hosting it. I'm very excited and very privileged to do so. Really looking forward to speaking to Neville Southall and spending the evening with him, hearing some stories, answering some questions, all that sort of stuff. So it's going to be a lot of fun. The people who are running it, it's Radar Rangers Football Club is the host. It's their anniversary dinner. I am hopeful that they're going to get back to me today about whether we can put the link out for tickets if anyone wanted to come. I'd love to see some of you there, but it's a week before the Sean Morrison one, so I kind of understand if people don't want to do it. It's a sit down thing with food and stuff like that. But yeah, look, I'm excited for it, really excited. I know there's maybe one or two other people going to be there as well, who I'm looking forward to meeting. And I'll be honest, it's mental to me, because I know the first choice for the host was Jason Mohammed. He was unavailable. I was second choice. Like, that's wild to me. Like, but it's also exciting, and I think if I'm honest, as I feel alright today, I think I look at it and I think, mate, no, there's an indication of how far you've come as a presenter, how far you've come as a host, whatever, but also the work and the hard yards that I've put in over the recent years to be considered for an opportunity like that. That's good. I'd take that all day long, and yeah, good for me. But you know, I'm sure, like Monday morning, I would have been thinking, oh, what am I doing? Why are you doing that? You're not up to that level, blah 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 blah. Because it's the way my mind works. My mind hates me. But today we're friends, so that's the way it is. But like, I don't know if there's a word for it. I don't know what the term is. Imposter syndrome, maybe. I don't know. I think everyone gets it, innit? Like, that bit of self-doubt and stuff. But yeah, it is what it is. I gotta say, I already cannot wait for League One to come back, because I want to see a reaction from this Cardiff City side. I want to see what Brian Barry Murphy does. I feel that he's got not a crisis by any means. He's got his first mini crisis, I think. Losing 3 of 4 home games isn't good enough, particularly when you consider that Burton Albion were down the bottom of the league. We should have smashed them. Newport County were bottom of the League 2. But of course, there's context to everything. Players missing, etc. International break. Young players playing. Really young players playing. And look, we're third in the league. We're in a nice position in terms of going for promotion and stuff like that. Yeah, next game, Reading, which interestingly is on the day that I do the evening with Neville Southall. I'm doing something really exciting on Tuesday, for me at least, and I'm hoping you guys will like what comes out of it. I'm going to an EFL club and I'm in a little bit of a mini tour at the training ground, and having a sit-down interview with someone. So I'm really excited for that. Like, that's again a big opportunity, and something that I like to think I've earned over the years with my hard work, the way I've done things. Like, I don't clickbait stuff, and I don't take clips out of context, and I don't try not to sensationalize stuff too much. I try to be honest and fair in everything I talk about, and whenever I talk about something, I try to look at it from all angles. Even with the Alex Robertson thing, I had sort of club side, but I was keen to get his side of it, just in case there was anything which was untoward, if there'd been a fallout, or if he had an attitude problem or anything. And I spoke to some people who would know, and yeah, it was all that. But it was more important for me to be right, or at least right as far as the there and then, than it is to be first. And I know some people get frustrated with that because they want the news all the time. They want to know what I've heard and this and that. But for me, I'm always more going to lean on the side of caution, because I'd rather get 2-3 people confirming stuff. And that's why a lot of the time I don't talk about stuff that I hear, because it's only off 1 or 2 people, and I'd rather be sure. And that's it. It's nature of the beast. I'm not a journalist. But I take seriously it's people's reputations you're discussing, and people's livelihoods, and I think it's important that when you talk about anything like that, sort of behind the scenes stuff, that you get it right. Hence why all last season I didn't really talk about Jamaru Collins. I was well aware of what had happened, but wasn't my story to tell, wasn't my thing. And I don't want to, ultimately as well, people forget this as well, I think, is I'm a Cardiff City fan, and if I put certain stuff out there, if that's going to hurt Cardiff City, I'm always going to err on the side of caution, because I don't want to hurt my football club. And I'm talking more like last season, when there was stuff going on behind the scenes and all that sort of stuff. This year has been all roses. They all bloody love it, from what I hear. Everyone seems to love the manager. The squad is closer than it's ever been. But look, one thing I will say about Tuesday is, if I was some of those players who were away with Wales and I watched that game on Tuesday, I wouldn't have been very impressed with my senior teammates, let me say. But the youngsters did really, really well. So as you can see, with a Cuppa with Si in the morning, it's kind of, I'm just getting ready for not even getting ready for the day, I've already started, but doing bits and pieces like graphics and links and background, my admin-y stuff, and I'm talking to you guys about that, about what's going on, bit of news, whatever. But most of all, like, it's a check-in, right? I'm big on mental health. We're all big on mental health on the channel, and all across all the channels. And I feel like having a little video checking in, being honest about how you're feeling, what's going on, that's a good thing. It's good to talk, especially for men, because we're shite at it. So if this can just help one person, wicked. Don't have to be about anything, just have a little 20-minute video, talk about what we're up to. And like, it's those little things, isn't it? So this morning I got up late. I got up at 6:30, which is an hour later than, or hour and a half later than when I normally get up. So I felt like I was playing catch up at all times. Only for the first hour, I really felt like I was behind. So I stopped and made a little list and said, right, get this stuff done by 9:30 before you record Cup of Tea with Si. Made a little list, like graphics, respond to this email, respond to that, message this person, chase up Thorny. Did it all, little things, just ticked them all off before 9:30, before I started this, and they're done. Happy days. Okay, that has made me feel more in control of my day. Now, I'm not saying by any means take my advice. I'm just telling you what works for me. My organisation is my worst thing, because I try and do too much at the same time. That's what my wife is for. She will give me a list of where I've got to be, where I've got to go, who I've got to speak to, what meetings I got, etc. Because I find it I try and do. So if I'm sat here, I got 4 screens. I'd be trying to do a graphic whilst trying to do a link, whilst trying to email someone, whilst trying to do something else, and it just becomes disjointed, and you're trying to do too much, and then you're not focusing on one thing. It's taking you longer to do everything because you're not just going bang, 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 bang. So yeah, that's me. That's my problem. But let me know, how's your morning been? What have you done this morning? Like, what positives can you take from this morning already? What positives can you take from this week already? And in the meantime, take it easy, my friends. I'll be back at lunchtime with a look ahead to Wales and England. Nice one.